really all their fault. I got the mail.
Coachman Class B Roundup.
Welcome back. Now back in Texas. I've been back for, I guess, going on 4 weeks. Getting over a cold. Was kind of sick with it all last week, and now, I mean, it's pretty much gone, but I can still, have a little bit of the drainage and whatnot. But so hopefully my voice doesn't sound too weird. But yeah, Florida was really enjoyed it. I really am happy with the way I planned out things as far as like leaving a lot of gaps. Because it kind of gave me that opportunity to be more flexible. So like in the case of when I was at VanFest and I realized it was 4 hours from the Florida Keys, and using Camp Scanner and getting those 2 spots in there, it gave me that last minute ability to make the decision to go down to the Florida Keys, which otherwise I wouldn't have been able to do. And like I said, leaving time open where I didn't have reservations anywhere that I had to get to, just really gave me more opportunity to make decisions like where I felt like going, or based on somebody's suggestion. And then in the case of after Peace, Love, and Vans, Neil and Britt were like, well, we're going back up to St. Augustine if you want to come hang out for a few days. So I was like, I don't have anything scheduled, so yeah, I could do that. And that was nice to be able to do that. I think the one thing I would change is when I went to the Tampa show in the beginning. So the night before the show, I knew I was going to be staying at a Cracker Barrel. But the second night, I thought I was going to go to, I had planned to go to a campground. And the closest one was an hour away that, had reservations that wasn't expensive. And so it was an hour away. And I found out everybody was going to go hang out at a Bass Pro. And I was like, well, I'd rather do that. So I think next year I'm going to leave that, things like that open as well. So I have even more choices there. And the last event that I went to was, before I left Florida, was the Sunshine State Coachman Owners Roundup, Class B Roundup, which is, all the Class Bs. And that's a lot of fun. This is the 4th one they've had. And it just gets bigger every year. Of course, they're limited on how many vans they can have, but it's still a lot of fun. You get people that come for the day, and it's right there with the RV show, so the Ocala RV show. But it's always good to see everyone. And then it was kind of fun. Dean, who's our Facebook group creator, he created our Facebook group. He picked up his new van. He had a 2018, I think it was, Coachman CrossFit, which was what the Beyond used to be called. And he traded it in. I think he had like 123,000 miles. It might have been a little bit more than that, but because he's full time. So so he traded in, got a brand new Beyond, gorgeous color too. It's not a color you can typically get. It's just one he happened to be able to get. On the outside, it's like I don't know what they call it. It's almost like, I call it graphite. That's to me, it looks like a graphite gray metallic. But and then he has the gray interior, and it's just so pretty. But he was all excited, with his new, it's like getting a new house, right? So that was a lot of fun. And then on the way back into Texas was the Lukenbach Go Small, Live Large Roundup camp out. So it was Lukenbach and then a winery. And of course, Lukenbach is always fun. And the winery was really nice. They actually had like a nice area outside with a big campfire we could all sit around. I don't think I took any pictures of that. I was too busy talking, I think. But anyway, but it was a lot of fun. Before I left Florida, actually on my way out, I stopped at, I stayed one night at a state park, or actually national park, the National Gulf Seashore has a campground there. Beautiful beach. So I finally got to the beach. Actually on my way out. So I left the roundup and I stayed at a Harvest Host that night that was at an automobile museum. And on my way there, I got a flat tire. Thankfully, it was on the inside left dually, so I think the other dually was kind of holding it up. And it was funny because I was passing a truck, and I heard something, and at first I thought, well, maybe it's just one of those little reflectors, on the road. But then the, tire pressure monitor came up, and looked and I could watch it, the number just drop. Luckily, I was right near an exit, so I was able to get off the exit and get pulled over to a gas station that was right there. And I have AAA for RVs, which is definitely something you would want to consider. Insurance, most insurance now, like I know Progressive has it, Geico has it, State Farm has it, where they have roadside assistance, and of course some of the other, like there's Good Sam has roadside assistance, so some of those other memberships have it as well. We have State Farm insurance, and I think it was I'm trying to remember. I don't think I've ever used the State Farm roadside assistance, but I decided to get the AAA because I've had AAA before and it's always been really good. So I got the AAA specifically for RVs because if you ever need to have your vehicle towed, they need a big flatbed for it. So that's why you want to have so they know, okay, they're dealing with RVs. And that definitely came in handy. So I just had to sit there, wait for him, and he actually was able to put the spare on. And so I got to the automobile museum. I didn't get there in time to do the tour because they closed at 5, and I think I got there at 4:45 or something like that. So the next day, I was supposed to stay at a state park the following night, but I didn't know what the situation was going to be with the tire because I didn't know if it was going to have to be replaced, and if they had to replace it, would I have to wait for a tire, because it's not like these are standard sizes that they would just happen to have on hand. So the next morning I went over to, and luckily I was right near Tallahassee, so where I was actually the Harvest House was Tallahassee. So and I went over to Discount Tire the following morning, and thankfully they were able to plug the tire, put the spare back up, underneath the van, which also, just as a suggestion, because the Transits do have spares, the ProMasters do not. I don't know that any of them do, because I know Winnebago and Coachman, and I'm assuming the other ones, but I'm not 100% sure, remove the spares because of where they're located and where they need to locate some of the tanks, whatever they need to put down underneath there. So if you have a ProMaster, you might want to consider getting a spare that you can hang on the back door. It would be worth it, I would think, but obviously as your budget allows. But anyway, so they were able to repair the tire and then put the spare back up. So, and they did that, I think I was out of there in an hour, so I didn't really need to cancel my reservation at the state park. It's just that I wasn't sure what to expect. So once I was able to get back on the road, I was like, well, I don't have anywhere to stay tonight. And I was kind of looking okay, is there a Cracker Barrel or, Bass, whatever, what might be around. And I thought, well, let me see if there's any Harvest Host that accepts same day. And thankfully there was a farm that took same day requests, and they approved me right away to stay that night. So, and that worked out nice because I got some nice farm fresh eggs. But, and then the next night is when I stayed at the seashore, which was really nice. And that was the last night I was in Florida. And then, let's see, there was a brewery, Abita Brewery in Louisiana. I stayed there. And then I stayed at and that was coming into Louisiana. And then, oh no, wait a minute. I stayed before I got to Louisiana, because we have Mississippi. So I stayed at that Harvest Host that I really like in Ocean Springs, Mississippi. It's a draft house and brewery. Cypress Tap House and Fort Bayou Brewery. So I stayed there, and then the next night I stayed at the Abita brewery in Louisiana. And then at the other end of Louisiana, and I didn't realize how close I was to Texas. I was like 10 minutes away from the state line. But there was a little farm I stayed at there. And then when I got into Texas, I stayed at a Harvest Host, and that was the Fortress Brew Works in Spring, Texas, which is just outside Houston. And that was actually a really nice Harvest Host. They had, oh my God, they had, of all things, it was a food truck that made wood fire pizzas, and oh my God, it was like the best pizza I think I've ever had. That was definitely worth the stop there. And then I spent a few days in Austin, saw my daughter, and then went to Luckenbach and Fredericksburg and Johnson City, and then came home. But yeah, so it was a lot of fun. It was a good trip. Misty enjoyed it. She really traveled well, so she's probably going to be coming with me now on some of these trips. So I'm probably going to take her with me when I go to, which I leave next weekend for Bisbee. And I've planned my route to Bisbee just because it's going through West Texas and New Mexico, and it's more rural areas, so there's not as many places to stay. So I kind of want to know where I'm going to be staying. And usually when it comes to drive days, I kind of do like to have my stops planned for a couple of reasons. One, I try to limit how many hours I drive a day, and so I figure, okay, what's within the 3 to 4 hour range, and then I look in that area to see if there's a Harvest Host, if I have to use a campground. In Texas, you can stay at rest stops, which actually I think I'm going to try. I might try some of the rest stops on the way back in, but I don't think I'm staying at any on the way out. I am actually going to stay at a Love's, one of the Love's that has the RV stops. So I'm going to try that out and see how that is. And I'm going to try to go through Roswell because, I don't know, why not? So I'm actually going to go this way instead of like in the lower part of Texas. I kept trying to decide which way I wanted to go, because at first I was thinking I kind of wanted to go and like maybe stop in Marfa and Alpine on my way out. But then I thought, I'm going to go this other way, and I'm going to stop in Roswell, and maybe I'll do Marfa on the way in. But I haven't really planned anything other than there's Bisbee, and then I'm going to go to Lost Dutchman State Park after that for a few days with some other people. But after that, I haven't really planned anything because I kind of want to, see what people suggest, or, if there's anything else that might come up, they'll be like, oh, hey, we're going to all go here or something like that. So I kind of wanted to leave it open, like I was saying what I did with Florida. Because it's kind of fun that way, actually. It could be stressful because you don't know where you're going to stay, but at the same time, it's not stressful because if you come up with something, you're like, oh, I know I can go do this because I don't have to go cancel some reservation or, whatever. So we'll see how that goes with with Arizona. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully, I don't know when their monsoon season is. Is it in the spring? I kind of think it is. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we don't run into any of that. And I'm actually, of course, we've got the eclipse coming up in a couple of days. This is, as I'm recording this is Friday, and Monday's the eclipse. And I guess, I don't know, they keep saying it's going to be cloudy here, so I don't know. I was originally going to go hang out with some friends, but I'll share this with you. If you are familiar or have heard of or not heard of Panoramic RV. Panoramic RV is a company out of Canada, out of Quebec. Canadian RVs are very cool. There's Pleasureways, there's what is that one? Safari Condo. Those are, and they actually do make vans, but they don't sell them. You can't get them in the U.S. period. But they have travel trailers that are really cool. Of course, leisure travel van. But Panoramic is another one. They make Class B vans, or a Class B van. It's on the ProMaster chassis. The floor plan is, it's the ideal floor plan. It's my favorite floor plan, which is when you have the dinette in the front, like the Travato G. But the Panoramic, if you haven't seen them, and I'll put some pictures in here, They have a skylight up front. They have, I mean, just big window. It's just very bright and airy looking inside. And from what I've seen from the photos, they look really, really nicely built. Anyway, they're going to be here at National Indoor RV in Louisville, which is where I go to dump my tanks all the time. But they're going to be here and they're having like a little cookout thing, and they're going to do some big announcement. I don't know what the announcement is. I kind of have my theories, which I'll keep to myself, but for now. But I'm going to go to that, and I've contacted the CEO who's going to be there, and I'm hoping to be able to sit down and talk to him and just kind of, have him kind of walk me through the panoramics, what their features are, and of course whatever the big news is, because right now I'll say this: to get one in the US, you can get one, but there are no dealers in the US right now to go to purchase through. You have to purchase through them, so you'd have to go to Canada to pick it up and all that, which may not be feasible for some people. You have to have a passport to get to Canada, which I'm working on getting mine. And then, just logistically, that may not be something for people, convenient for people to do. But there are people that own them in the U.S. In fact, I mean, I know of someone that's part of our group that we all gather with, and I've seen theirs. I mean, I've stuck my head into theirs. It's kind of funny when I'm checking out somebody else's RV. Sometimes, it's like walking into somebody's home in a way. You don't want to be like, oh, what's behind here, or what's, you just kind of look and go, oh yeah, this is nice. Where if it's on a dealer lot and you can walk in and open the cabinets and what's in here, because you're not disturbing anybody's property. Because that's kind of, for me, that's how I feel. So that's what's going to be nice about seeing it on Monday, because I'll really be able to get in there and look behind the cabinets and all that, in the cabinets and everything. And like I said, get a chance to talk with and we're going to talk on video, so I'll have a video for you. And the reason why is because if things change and they're easier to get in the U.S., it's definitely, if you're in the market for a van, it's definitely one to check out. There's a few I've mentioned before, Nuvo out of Nevada, and this is a very similar floor plan to theirs. So if you like that front dinette, and maybe the Travato isn't the one that you're interested in for whatever reason, whether it's you don't like the seating, or I don't know. If you want an alternative, I guess this would be an alternative to that. So I'm really looking forward to that, and chatting with him, and getting some more information. I know that they are going to be going around to this is their kickoff is on Monday at the Louisville National Indoor RV, but they're going to be going to different ones, or they're going to be going to all the other locations. I think if you go to their website, which I'll put in here, it's panoramicrv.com. They do have a list of where they'll be, because they'll be in Georgia, Tennessee, Nevada, and then there's another one. I'm not sure where it is, in addition to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So, if it's something that is appealing to you, that it's definitely something to check out, and hopefully I'll have more information on that for you with the next video that I'm going to do with their CEO. So yeah, so stay tuned for that. And I think I'm probably going to end it here. Maybe I'll finish out with some clips from highlights from Florida, and I will see you in the next video.
Class B Roundup.
I'm making queso for our potluck tonight. It's looking pretty good.